Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? We're going to have a few toasts. You got this. Yep.
Thank you. All right, welcome. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Woo! I got a cheering section. I'm Nancy. I am Carly's mom, for those of you who don't know me. On behalf of Nikki's parents, Christina and Roland, where are you? Woo, right there. Carly's dad, Bill. My husband, Tom. And myself, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming tonight. I know we have friends from near and far here tonight with us, and we do have some people who couldn't be here who got to watch the ceremony virtually, so we were so pleased with that. William Shakespeare said it best, and though she be but little, she is fierce. Carly Jane Crawford came into this world on my 30th birthday, weighing just 5 pounds and 6 ounces and wailing. And she's never needed a microphone to be heard since. At the rehearsal dinner the other night, I could hear her voice carrying over the conversations of others a table away, and I smiled at the sound. It brought back the memory of hearing her sing in the bathtub after a night at rehearsal or out with friends. She'd partially submerge her head in the water and belt out show tunes from the tub. That sound meant all was right in my world. How I missed it when she went off to college. Whoops. At 2.5, Carly fell in love with board games. I know you've seen a lot of games around here out on the lawn tonight. Her favorite game was Sorry. And yes, Nikki, that's when her dad, or was it her nanny, taught her to do the victory dance. Does she still do that, Nikki?
Yes, absolutely. But she doesn't win often, so. That is not true.
Carly was an early reader. At age 3, she loved to color. One day she dumped out that big box of 64 crayons onto her little Tykes table and shouted, "Mommy, I need a blue." I looked at her table and saw many colors that looked like blue to me, and I handed one to her. She said, "That's blue violet." I looked, and it was. Cue the Twilight Zone music here. I picked up another bluish crayon and handed it to her. "That's Asher blue." Another one. "That's cerulean." Okay, now it was just getting creepy. How did she know all these words? It was like somebody opened up the top of her head and just dumped it all in. One Sunday morning, she was sitting on the floor of the kitchen at her grandmother's house, and she had the Sunday comics spread out in front of her. She was reading Calvin and Hobbes, and by reading, her grandmother thought she was looking at the pictures and making up a story. And she said, "Oh, how cute." And I looked over Carly's shoulder, and Calvin and Hobbes were in the bubble bath, and they were making disguises with the bubbles. And she was reading the actual words on the page, including the word disguises. And I said, "Oh, how scary. She's reading the actual words." If Carly was ever a contestant on Survivor, you remember the show Survivor? Her comfort item would be a bathtub. The girl does love a long, warm bath filled to the brim. Remember I said she'd lay in that tub and belt out show tunes? She'd turn that faucet on, and then she'd run into her bedroom, and that water would run and run and run and run, and I'd just know it was going to flow over the top, and I'd yell at her, "Get back in there and watch that tub." It always got just up to the brim, but it never overflowed. She just had an uncanny sense for catching it right before it came over the top. She loved books. She loved reading, and she'd lay in that tub for hours reading. She loved books even when she was little. Her dad and I thought she would never walk. She would knee walk across her bedroom with a book in each hand. At Christmas time, she would go straight to the books that Santa left, except the Christmas she got the vacuum cleaner. But she would go straight to the books and ignore the toys, and we would try to entice her to open another present, and she would want to read the books instead of opening toys. One day, she was sitting on the floor in her bedroom. She was probably about 3 or 4, and she was pulling books out of her bookcase and reading them to herself. And from the other room, I heard this blood-curdling scream, and I went running in her bedroom because I thought, oh my gosh, she's pulled the bookcase over on top of herself. And I found that the source of her frustration was that she had buried herself in the books, and she couldn't reach the last 2 books on the bookshelf. So, we all know Carly has done a lot of theater. She started doing theater when she was 4. She was sitting on the couch reading a book to me. There's those books again. And we were having the ceiling in our kitchen painted, and the house painter stopped working and came and stood in the living room and listened to her read. And he said, "She should be on stage." And I thought, what do you know? You're a house painter. And he said, "I did a lot of acting in college. You know, they have audition notices in the paper on Friday. You should take her to an audition." I didn't know anything about it, but on Friday I looked, and sure enough, there were audition notices in the paper. So I said, "Would you like to do this?" And she said, "I don't know. What do I get to be?" And I said, "Maybe nothing. We go to the audition, and you do whatever it is they do at auditions, and then they'll tell you if they want you to be in their play." So we went to Germantown Community Theater for the audition for the greatest Christmas pageant ever. And at the door to the auditorium, they said, "Parents are not allowed in the audition." And she looked at me and said, "Go home." She had found her place and her family, theater people. So her life since that point has been filled with theater, and I know there are so many of you here who have been in theater productions with her at different stages of her life. Her high school years were filled with theater and fun. She embraced her individuality through music and Dance Revolution marathons at our house, which Molly and Eric can attest to. We had some rules when the high schoolers would come over. We would say, "Okay, listen up, no drinking." And they would say, "Like we drink." And we'd say, what was the other one? No drinking. Bill, what was the other one? No drinking alcohol. No, yeah, of course. No making out. No smoking, like we smoke. It's bad for your voice. And if your parents are going to call us tomorrow and complain because we're not here, because we're going out, you need to leave now. And we never got a phone call, so. She used to make awesome mixed CDs with show tunes followed by rock, rap, and what I referred to as bang your head against the wall music. She disagreed with me. Carly referred to it as bang your head against the pillow music, just a tad bit softer. She used to go to music shows at the Caravan. And she came home one night and she said, Mom, I want to show you this video. She was about 15, and she pulled up this video on her phone that showed her running up on stage and diving into the crowd and body surfing all the way to the back of the room. And she said, nobody dropped me. And I said, honey, there are just some things your mother doesn't need to see. Carly followed her heart and her love for theater after college, and she moved to Cincinnati to work in a 4-person children's theater traveling troupe. She hated it. She lived in a tiny 1-bedroom studio apartment that was way smaller than this stage. She reported to work early, loaded the company van, drove 1 to 4 hours, unloaded, ran 2 shows, loaded the van, drove it back to the theater, unloaded for the night, and then went back to her tiny studio apartment alone and crashed, only to get up at the crack of dawn and repeat the process the next day. She had no opportunity to meet anyone outside of that troupe. She hated it, but she persisted, seeing it through to the end because she said she would. And if Carly said she would, she did. Her next job at Lexington Children's Theater was the polar opposite, and I honestly thought she'd never leave. Her roommate Kat and many, many resident and intern friends, and Miss Viv and Mr. Larry were family, who turned 1 year into 3 when Carly's life plans changed. A change that eventually led her to Nikki. Nikki. Shakespeare said it best, and though she be but little, she is fierce. Fierce. That's Nikki. She works out fiercely. She trains fiercely. She supports those she loves fiercely, and she loves Carly fiercely. Nikki, Bill, Tom, and I love your determination, your strength, your energy. You are so passionate about people and issues that you care about. You pour all of yourself into them. You refuse to tolerate injustice and work to educate yourself and others about issues because education is power. And as you so aptly portray, strong women can be both passionate and compassionate. Fierce and loving, strong and soft. You are curious, and you have a thirst for learning and continuing to improve yourself to become a better trainer, a better friend, a better partner, and now a better wife. We know that you will bring that strength, drive, passion, and love to this marriage and family that you and Carly are creating. We can't wait to see the wondrous adventures the two of you will have together. We love you with all our hearts. So please raise your glass. My water bottle. And join me in toasting Nikki and Carly, Carly and Nikki, and wishing them a lifetime of happiness.
All right, can I have Roland come up? Roland?
Wow, what a tough act to follow, folks. Anyway, I'll give my best here. Dear Carly and Nikki, dear family members, dear guests from near and far, I want to especially acknowledge the many family members and friends who are watching this event on live video throughout the US, all the way there up in Alaska, where Nikki's aunt and godmother, Carol, is watching, as well as a huge crowd in Switzerland, including my brothers Rene and Bruno and their families, and Nikki's godfather Hugo and his family. Many of them had their airline tickets and hotel reservations booked, but due to the COVID-related travel bans and restrictions, were forced to cancel. On a personal note, growing up in Switzerland, I of course never imagined that I would ever give this kind of speech here in Memphis, Tennessee. Not that I didn't know about Memphis, Tennessee. In fact, as a teenager, I still had hopes and dreams to become the Swiss version of Elvis Presley. So guess what? At my first singing competition in 1969, at the sweet young age of 16, my song choice was Memphis, Tennessee. I have to say, I never learned the English version because there was this buddy and I, he was playing the piano and I was doing the singing. And back then, Memphis, Tennessee was still a huge hit, even so it came out in 1959. But in 69, it was still a big hit. And it got translated into all sorts of languages, including German. So if I remember it correctly, I mean, I'm not going to bore you with all the different verses. I would probably not remember the second and the third, but that's how it went. To those of you from you Memphians, you know, you probably never heard Memphis, Tennessee sung or performed in German, right? So, anyway, all right. Hey Fräulein, bitte melden, ist dort Memphis, Tennessee. Ich suche überall mein Baby und mein Baby heißt Marie. Ich rief ihr gestern Abend an, ich war nicht zu Haus. Jetzt denkt sie ganz bestimmt, ich war mit einer anderen aus. Bam, 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 bam. Now, hey, now you know why I never made it to big stardom, right? Anyway. But I was never shy, so what the hell. Anyway, well, Carly and Nikki, your big day has finally arrived. You had to endure all sorts of trials and tribulations to make this happen. But here we are, celebrating your love for each other. Carly, on behalf of my wife Christina and Nikki's brother Alex, we welcome you on board this usually smooth, but occasionally choppy, but never boring ride with the Fight family. Your sharp intellect, inner strength, sunny disposition, beauty, and southern charm are a welcome addition to our family. Above all, it is your love for our Nikki that matters most to us. Nikki, from an early age on, you developed a very unique personality and have always impressed us with your drive, determination, and persistence to succeed in whatever you set your mind to. We admire your keen work ethics and entrepreneurship. which started way back with babysitting and then in high school working for a pharmacy. And now here in Memphis, you have taken this to a whole new level by building your own gym and starting what has in the meantime become a very successful personal training business. And all this within just a couple of years. We love and respect you. We are very happy for both of you that you have found each other. We know that you have been living together for some time already, but now that it's all official and you embark together as a married couple on this great adventure called life, we wish you a wonderful and exciting journey. May you always have love and respect for each other, and may the challenges that you'll be facing in the future as a team make your bond grow even stronger. Now, Nikki asked me for something typical Swiss, and it's a chant. It's a chant that the Swiss do at sports event when they bond as a team, rooting for their national soccer team or whatever. And it's called Zigge Zagge. So, all you Swiss out there or everyone else who knows this from somewhere, watching various shows, please join in. Zigge Zagge, Zigge Zagge, hoi, hoi, hoi. Zigge Zagge, Zigge Zagge, hoi, hoi, hoi. Zigge, 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 hoi, hoi, hoi. Bravo, you got it. All right, let's raise our glasses and drink to the happy couple. Thank you very much. Enjoy this wonderful night.
Before we do anything else, can we please make some noise for incredible parents? Oh my God. Incredible parents. Come here. All right. Yes. So you.
Welcome. Thank you all so much. Incredible, generous. It's so incredible to see everyone who has traveled near and far to be here. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome.
You took my line.
You can make up one.
Okay. We really appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate with us. We are so excited to have this freaking party.
It's been 2 years in the making, and we appreciate your patience. We appreciate your bravery. We appreciate your vulnerability for being here. We understand how scary and difficult and just exhausting it's been the past year and a half, and we are just so grateful to fucking party with y'all.
So with that, let's eat some food, let's drink some drinks, because in a little bit we're going to get our dance on.
All right.